Okay, fine. Now, anybody has checked that what type of IP you are getting?
Yes, sir. चेक किए थे.
Then?
सर तो उसमें ये आ रहा था 191.168.101.1.
192.
हाँ 192.
.168.101.1.
101.1. वाईफाई से कनेक्ट किए थे सर.
Definitely. Okay. Anybody else? Aniket has done. Anybody else? No one has checked. Fine. Now see. Just going to share. Now, Aniket, you have checked that you have got an IP address 192.168.101. something. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Fine. And now, see this line.
Class C.
Class C. It's okay. And it has some IP range 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255. Does your IP IP means what you have got in case of Wi-Fi connection. Does your IP belongs to this range?
Yes, sir.
Fine. In this way, if many students have checked it, then they all got IP address from this range. This is class C. Why we all are getting IP from this range? Why there is no IP like 11.0.10.20, 200.13.40.90? Because there is a concept of private IP address. And in this concept, few ranges of IP address have been defined as a private IP address because these addresses can be used in a private network by any user without any permission or registration. These IP addresses are free to use in a private network. If we will see class A, the first line, in class A, IP range is 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. This is a private IP range. Then in class B, 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. And in class C, 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255. That's why these IP addresses are mostly used in private networks. Fine. Now,
Yes, sir.
in IPv4, there is some reserved IP address and some private IP addresses. Then the rest, all IP addresses of class A, B, and C. I'm not talking about class B and E because class B is used for multicasting and E is not used. All rest IP addresses of class A, B, C are known as public IP address. Why it is known as public IP address? Name shows that public means we are public, so we can use it. No. Public IP address means a IP address that can provide you unique identity on a public network. And public network is ISP. ISP means Internet Service Provider.
Yes, sir.
So on a public network, to get a unique identity, public IP address is used. And if we want to make a unique identity in a public network and we want to use a public IP, but to use this public IP, registration is required. You have to do some paperwork or some extra work to get this IP. If you have got a public IP address, in that case, it will be your unique identity in a public network. I'm just going to show you. See, in which college you are studying? In CIMAGE?
CIMAGE College.
Fine. I'm going to ping CIMAGE. Command prompt. Now, ping 190, not 192, CIMAGE, CIMAGE.in. This is CIMAGE domain because you all have
Yes,
got
sir.
email ID. You all know
Yes,
that.
sir.
I'm going to ping this. Right now, I am getting reply from CIMAGE server, and its IP is 148.66.137.116. Okay.
Okay.
Now I am going to ping Google. I'm getting reply 142.250.183.36.
Yes, sir.
Now, just see. These two IP addresses belongs to these range or not?
Yes, sir. This range.
148 comes to in which class?
B.
B.
Yes.
And
Sir.
private IP range of class B is 172. And this IP is 148 or 142.
Yes,
See
sir.
this IP? It means this is not a private IP. This IP does not belong to this range or this range or this range. Even Google's IP is also do not belong to any of these range. Means this is not a reserved IP, this is not a private IP, it means this is a public IP. CIMAGE has registered a public IP for its unique identity in the world. That's why its website is running.
Yes, sir.
Google has also registered. If you check some more sites, in that case, you will see, yes, every site has a unique public IP. I'm going to ping Google, then Flipkart.
Facebook, sir.
Flipkart.com.
Yes, sir.
Maybe. Yes, there is a reply. Again, check. 199 is not a private IP range. It has also a public IP. Every website means every website has a different network. And different network, for unique identity of that different network, there must be a unique IP address. And that IP address should be unique all over the world. So these IP addresses are known as public IP address. If CIMAGE is using XYZ IP, then no one else can use this IP. Fine. This is the concept of public IP. Now it is clear to everyone?
सर पब्लिक आईपी के लिए कुछ पेमेंट भी करना पड़ता है.
And definitely. Rental.
डोमेन खरीदने के लिए जो करता है वही आईपी खरीदने के लिए सर.
डोमेन.
उसमें सारी फीस इंक्लूडेड हो.
ओके सर.
ठीक है?
यस सर.
वैसे डोमेन
सर जैसे हम अपना जीमेल आईडी बनाते हैं तो उसमें हम भी डोमेन खरीदते हैं, डोमेन लेते हैं सर.
नहीं, आप डोमेन लेते नहीं हैं. आप एक पब्लिक डोमेन में अपना सिर्फ आईडी क्रिएट करते हैं. जीमेल को बोलते हैं पब्लिक मेल सर्वर. वो किसी का प्राइवेट मेल सर्वर नहीं है. क्लियर?
यस सर.
Okay. Now, fine. So, private IP, public IP is clear. Now, next section. Slash notation of IPv4 address. What is slash notation? Look, in some reports, you will get IP information like 1.0.0.1 slash something. What is this? Till now, we have no idea about this type of IP address.
Yes, sir.
But this type of IP address is used most of places. Now, what is this type of? See, this one is an example of IP address and subnet mask. Clear?
Yes, sir.
When belongs to class A, that's why its subnet mask will be 255.0.0.0.
Yes, sir.
But I have just written down 10.0.0.1 slash 8. Here 8 represents number of network bits. In class A, we use the default number of network bit is 8.
Yes, sir.
In class B, 16. In class C, 24.
24.
So that's why to represent class A IP address, we just write a slash and just after slash write number of network bit. So I have written 10.0.0.1 slash 8. Just see the second example. This IP belongs to class B. And there are 16 network bits in class B. That's why I have written IP address, then the slash, then 16. In class C, 24.
24.
It means here I have written IP address and subnet mask both in a single line. Fine. This is known as slash notation of IP address. Slash notation of IP address.
IP address.
Okay. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Only 21 participants. Okay, now see, I have given this topic like to identify the class of IPv4 if it is represented into binary number system. Actually, I have seen this type of question in competitive exams like government exams, government job exams, some other exams also, Cisco exams, Microsoft exams. I have seen that in a question, there is an IP address, but IP address has been given into binary form. And this is just an objective question. The student has to just mark the or correct option. Now, what is question? Suppose somebody has written IP address in binary form and question is to which class this IP belong. Then what will you do in that case? Suppose somebody has, suppose there is a question that I'm just going to put an example, then it will be clear. Suppose there is 1, 0, This is the IP address. Now you have to say to which class this IP belongs. Then what will be your answer? Or what will you do to get answer? Anybody can tell me? What happened, Mahfouz?
Yes, sir. First of all, change in a number, sir. This digit,
Okay,
one
fine.
digit.
Means you will change this IP address from binary to decimal.
Class B, sir.
Decimal number. Yes, sir.
Decimal.
Yes, sir.
Then suppose you have got like its value is 148. First group value is 148. Then you can say, okay, sir, this IP belongs to class B, but it will take too much time and there may be a chance of mistake also.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
To overcome this problem, there is an idea. Look, class A range is 0 to 127. And if you will convert 0 to 127 value into binary, you will see that to represent 0, 8 zeros can be used. To represent 127, first bit will be 0 and all 7 bits will be 1. It means in this range, you can see that the first bit is always 0.
Yes.
If
Sir.
there is an IP
Yes, sir.
address which first bit is 0, it means this IP belongs to class A. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And in
Yes,
class
sir.
B, range is 128 to 191.
That's fine.
If you convert any value, 128, 129, 30, 135, 148, 156, 157, any value, then you will see that first 2 bit is always 10. It means if
Like,
first 2
plus-
bit is 10, then that IP will belong to class B.
Class B.
Similarly, if you will see class C, first 3 bit will be always 110. In class D, 1110. So on the basis of these values, just keep one thing in your mind: 0, 10, 110, 1110, 0, 10, 110, 1110. It is very clear.
Yes, sir.
Now, by keeping these few values in your mind, you can quickly answer any IP address class.
A, B, C, कोई भी.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, this is the end of your IPv4. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, in next class, we will start IPv6, concept of IPv6. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, I'm just going to stop this class and just wait. I have to mark your